Nobody expected Us to be a simple slasher film. On the surface, it's a movie about evil doppelgangers and all the horror scenarios you can dream up with that kind of premise. Plus scissors. Scissors suck. But now that it's here, it's clear that there are multiple layers that might get lost in a casual viewing. So let's dig into all the small details it had to offer. Get ready, because we're untethering the mysteries behind Us. Spoilers ahead. If you were paying attention, you might have noticed that the entire plot of Us was spelled out in the opening seconds of the film. After that long title shot with the rabbits, Us opens on a TV playing a commercial for the Hands Across America movement. On either side of the TV are VHS tapes, which included The Man with Two Brains, The Goonies, and Chud. It turns out that when you put those all together, you have the movie Us. In The Man with Two Brains, Steve Martin stars as a brain surgeon who telepathically connects with a disembodied brain in a jar. Like in Us, it deals with a mental connection between two physical forms.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can envision a day when the brains of brilliant men can be kept alive in the bodies of dumb people.
In The Goonies, of course, the kids' adventure leads them underground, just like Adelaide when she follows her doppelganger into the tunnels below the surface. One of the lines that Red says in the climax of the film actually comes directly from The Goonies. She says, it's our time up there," which echoes one of Mikey's most famous phrases.
Down here, it's our time down here.
Finally, Chud, or cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers, deals with mutants living in the sewers under New York City who begin attacking people on the surface. The parallels there probably don't need much explanation. So what was up with all that hand-holding the Tethers were into? In the climax, Red explained a bit of it, but if you weren't around in the 80s, you might not be familiar with the crazy charity stunt that the Washington Post has lovingly dubbed the most 80s thing to happen in the 80s. The charity stunt was Hands Across America, a 1986 event that tried to raise money for the homeless by having people stand, hand in hand, across the entire United States. The premise was that we're all the same and we're all connected, so why not pay $10 to make a countrywide umbilical with all your peers? Connect.
I haven't seen you guys since Hands Across America?
That's what we were just saying.
We almost made it. Couple of breaks in the chain,
so
right?
Close. Hands Across America!
Peele has explained in interviews that his vision for the script was heavily influenced by that moment, and it definitely shows in Us. One of the earliest scenes in the film is that commercial. After that, the references pop up everywhere. Young Adelaide is wearing a Hands Across America shirt under her Thriller shirt when she's abducted. The evil Red uses the movement to organize her tethered rebellion, and at the end, all the tethered form a similar link across Santa Cruz, maybe even the whole country for all we know. In the original charity event, it was for the homeless. In Us, it's for the weird psychic underground clones. But the message is the same: we won't be forgotten anymore. In keeping with the partial 80s setting of Us, there's one Easter egg that almost definitely slipped past anyone who isn't a die-hard fan of the quintessentially 80s teen vampire flick, The Lost Boys. And let's be honest, that's pretty much everyone, right?
Welcome aboard, Michael!
Both movies use the Santa Cruz Boardwalk as a filming location, but while The Lost Boys changed the town's name, Us was open about the film's setting. So open, in fact, that during the scenes taking place in 1986, it alluded to a real-life event that happened there, the filming of The Lost Boys. While young Adelaide is walking with her parents, her mom tells her dad something along the lines of, "They're filming a movie over by the carousel." Peele confirmed in an interview that the line indeed referenced The Lost Boys, and most likely the scene of Kiefer Sutherland on a carousel. The only way to hit that nail harder on the head would have been to have young Adelaide walk past the sexy jazz man. Oh, what could have been? You definitely noticed the scissors. Those golden implements of stabbiness were everywhere in Us. In hands, in bellies, in that one guy's crotch, in everything. And there's no doubt that scissors are scary horror weapons. They're sharp, they're in practically every home in the world, and they're an integral part of the scariest jump scene ever filmed. That's pretty scary, right? Because scissors are scary. But in the Peeleverse, as usual, there's a dual meaning to those golden scissors. Like the cutout paper people, the shadows as the family walks across the beach for the first time, and the House of Mirrors. The scissors and Us are both separate and the same simultaneously. Peele himself explained it best when talking about the imagery he wanted to create with the scissors, saying, "The inherent duality of two equal objects that are connected and an object that's used to sever or cut is very important to the film." No, wait, maybe Tim Heidecker explained it best.
Every star has a sister star, a little bit like two eyeballs. If you can imagine, if you could see the other side of my eyeball, you'd see a 360-degree eyeball.
There are a lot of themes running through Us, one of which is the horror-centric idea of creatures from the deep coming up to prey on surface dwellers, and the biggest nod to that came in the form of Jason's Jaws shirt. There's clearly a lot of Jaws influence on Us. Aside from the idea of predators lurking beneath us, the scenes on the beach are also reminiscent of Steven Spielberg's classic shark thriller. Even one of the specific sequences, when Adelaide realizes that Jason is missing and suddenly sees all the innocent beach fun in a series of sharp, staccato, sinister moments, was pieced together a lot like the scene in Jaws in which Chief Brody is on the lookout for a shark before the big attack. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Peele revealed some of the inspiration behind his latest film, and it comes from an understandable place: the Twilight Zone, one of TV's oldest and best benchmarks for horror. In particular, Peele pulled inspiration from a 1960 episode titled Mirror Image. Wanna guess what it's about? Yep, evil doppelgangers. In the episode, a woman at a bus station on a rainy night sees another person who looks exactly like her. As time goes on, she gets more and more agitated about it until she's carted off by the police, at which point it's revealed that she wasn't crazy after all. The other woman was actually a mirror image from another dimension.
This counterpart, after the two worlds converge, comes into our world, and in order to survive, it has to take over.
The obvious connection is there in Us by making the antagonists mirror images of the main characters, but Peele no doubt gave this an extra visual when he put Adelaide's first meeting with her tethered in a literal house of mirrors, with a conveniently placed sign that says, "Find yourself" at the front door. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movie details are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.